Have you ever wondered why so many women cut their hair short after the age of 60? Not because they were tired of it or ready for a change, but because it simply felt like the right thing to do. Like a quiet expectation they had to meet, even if no one said it out loud. What if I told you that choice might not have come from your own heart at all, but from generations of subtle messaging? Through magazine covers that praised age-appropriate styles, through well-meaning hairdressers offering mature cuts, through the silent agreement that long hair is for the young and short hair is for the rest of us. But what if that's not true? What if short hair after 60 isn't a symbol of style, but of surrender? What if letting go of your long hair was never really about hair at all, but about letting go of a part of yourself you weren't ready to lose? Today, we're not just talking about hairstyles. We're talking about history. We're talking about freedom, about identity, about the right to look in the mirror and say, "This still feels like me." So before you pick up the scissors or let someone else's opinion shape how you see yourself, pause. Because you're about to hear a perspective that might change the way you view not just your hair, but your whole reflection. This is Thoughtful Elders Insight, and today we begin with one simple but powerful question. What does your hair say about you, and who told it to say that? 1. Real stories, real women. Let's begin not with facts, but with lived truth, because sometimes the most powerful answers don't come from research or rules, but from the voices of women who've lived long enough to know what truly matters. Take Eleanor. She's 72 years old and lives in Oregon, tucked between quiet mornings and tall pine trees. Her hair is long, silver, and woven into a soft braid that falls down her back. When someone once asked why she never cut it short, she smiled and said, "It reminds me of who I've always been, gentle, strong, and just a little wild." Then there's Lisa, 67, a retired nurse from North Carolina. For decades, she wore her hair short, neat, professional, practical. But after retirement, she let it grow. Slowly, the layers softened. Her confidence returned. "When I stopped cutting it," she said, "I stopped apologizing for myself." And Janine, 75, a grandmother of 6, living in California. Her white hair falls in soft waves, often tied with a simple scarf. "My grandkids say I look like a storybook queen," she laughs. "But the truth is, I just feel more like myself this way." None of these women are trying to look younger. They're not clinging to their 20s. They're embracing their 70s with softness, pride, and grace. Their long hair isn't about vanity. It's about visibility. It's about choice. It's about not disappearing. Because when you've lived through joy, loss, love, and change, when your hair has danced in the wind of every season of your life, you earn the right to wear it any way you please. These stories aren't rare. They're everywhere, quietly powerful, softly defiant, and fully alive. And they remind us that long hair after 60 isn't a statement of rebellion. It's a whisper of self-return. It's not about looking young. It's about feeling whole. 2. Why we were told to cut it. To understand why so many women let go of their long hair after 60, we have to look back. Not just a few years, but decades, into a time when beauty came with quiet instructions and aging came with invisible rules. In the 1950s and 1960s, the image of the ideal older woman was carefully shaped. She was modest, tidy, practical. She wore tailored clothes, hosted Sunday dinners, and kept her emotions and her hair neatly in place. Long hair on a woman past a certain age? That was considered unruly, immature, even inappropriate. Why? Because long hair was linked to youth, sensuality, independence. And somewhere along the way, society decided that as women aged, they were expected to leave those parts of themselves behind. The beauty industry reinforced it. So did magazines. So did stylists who gently suggested a shorter cut to lift your features or match your age. And over time, this quiet message became a cultural script, that aging gracefully meant cutting your hair. But here's the truth. That script was never written by the women living it. No one asked how it felt to lose the hair they'd worn through their youth, through motherhood, through love and loss. No one asked if they still felt beautiful watching it move in the wind. No one asked if they wanted to keep it, not because it made them look younger, but because it made them feel like themselves. Instead, it was assumed, expected, encouraged. And so, generation after generation, many women cut their hair, not because they wanted to, but because it was what good women were supposed to do. But times have changed, and so have we. Today, we get to ask different questions. Why should a number define our appearance? Why should growing older mean giving up something we love? The answer is, it shouldn't. You are not bound by the style choices of your grandmother's generation. You are not obligated to trade softness for structure, and you are certainly not too old to wear your hair however you choose. Because your reflection belongs to you, not to tradition, not to expectation, and not to outdated rules about what a woman should be at any age. 3. It's not about age, it's about energy. One of the most common things women hear after 60 is this: long hair makes you look older. Maybe you've heard it from a stylist, maybe from a friend, maybe from that little voice in your head that repeats what the world once taught you. But let's pause for a moment and really examine that. Does long hair actually make a woman look older? Or is that just an old story we've been telling ourselves, one built on fear, not fact? Here's the truth. Our hair does change as we age. It can become finer, drier, thinner, or more fragile. That part is real. But it's not the length that's the problem. It's the condition. It's the way we care for it, or forget to. Think of hair the same way you think about clothing. A beautiful dress, tailored to your shape, in colors that light up your skin, that can make you feel amazing at any age. But if that same dress is wrinkled, outdated, or doesn't reflect who you are anymore, it won't flatter you, whether you're 20 or 80. Hair works the same way. Long hair, when it's healthy, styled with intention, and worn with pride, can soften your features, frame your face beautifully, and add a sense of grace that has nothing to do with youth, but everything to do with vitality. Picture two women, both in their 60s. One has long hair, but it's lifeless, flat, without shape, just hanging there. The other also has long hair, but it's layered with soft waves, a shine that catches the light, and a color, whether silver, blonde, or salt and pepper, that brings her face to life. Both have long hair, but only one radiates energy. It's not about age, it's about attention. It's about how you wear it, how you feel in it, and what it says about you. Some stylists even argue that long hair, when styled with care, can look more youthful than a harsh, overly structured shortcut, because it allows for movement, softness, and a sense of freedom that can be incredibly flattering. So no, long hair doesn't make you look older. Disconnection does. Neglect does. Letting go of the things that once made you feel radiant, that's what ages us most. But when you choose what makes you feel most you, that's when you start to glow. That's when your age becomes a detail, not a definition. Because beauty doesn't come from conforming. It comes from connecting with yourself, with your joy, and with the things that still light you up from the inside out. 4. The emotional thread. Hair is never just hair. Not really. It carries stories, memories, and traces of the person you've been across decades. It's part of your identity, woven into the fabric of your life in ways most people never see. Think about it for a moment. Think about your teenage years, when your hair was wild and free, and so were you. Maybe you wore it long down your back, or pulled it up in a ponytail as you ran through summer days that felt endless. Maybe someone told you it looked beautiful, and you believed them, just for a second longer than usual. Maybe you remember your mother brushing your hair at night, gently untangling it while telling you stories. Maybe you brushed your own daughter's hair the same way years later, humming quietly while her little head leaned into your hands. And maybe, after years of shortcuts, practicality, and putting everyone else first, you found yourself wondering what it would feel like to grow it out again, to run your fingers through it, long and soft, to see something familiar return in the mirror, a part of you that's still there, waiting. For many women, growing their hair long again after years of cutting it short feels like coming home, like reconnecting with a younger version of themselves they didn't mean to leave behind, but somehow did, piece by piece, over time. And when the world says long hair is only for the young, it's not just making a statement about style. It's sending a message about freedom, about spirit, about softness, about who gets to be visible and who's expected to fade quietly into the background. But you don't have to fade. You don't have to tuck yourself away. Long hair for some women is not about vanity. It's about identity. It's about remembering the woman underneath all the roles: mother, wife, caregiver, retiree. The woman who still dreams, still dances, still matters. We've spoken to countless women who say the same thing. I didn't realize how much of myself I had let go of until I saw my hair falling over my shoulders again. That's not just a hairstyle. That's healing. So if your heart has ever whispered, maybe I want to grow it out again, listen. Because that voice isn't just asking about hair, it's asking to be seen, to be remembered, to be loved. 5. What really works after 60? Now that we've talked about the emotional connection to long hair, let's shift into something just as important: what actually works. Because as much as beauty comes from within, it's also helpful to understand the features that make a style feel truly you. So let's start with the basics: your face shape and your hair texture. These two things are like the canvas and the brush. When you understand them, everything else begins to make sense. If you have a round face, longer hair can help add length and softness. Think about gentle layers that start below the chin, or waves that draw the eye downward. What you want to avoid are blunt cuts right at your cheeks. That can make your face appear even rounder. But soft, flowing lines? They flatter beautifully. If your face is oval, you're in luck. Oval is the most versatile face shape. You can wear just about any length, as long as it doesn't overwhelm your features. Balance is key. Mid-length styles, soft layers, or even a long cut with side-swept bangs can all enhance what's already naturally symmetrical. For square faces, you want to soften the angles. Long hair with curls or movement works especially well here. Textured ends, soft waves, and even a bit of volume around the temples can add that delicate touch. The one thing to avoid is a super straight, heavy cut. It can exaggerate the jawline instead of balancing it. Now, if you have a long or narrow face, you'll want to be careful not to add too much vertical length with your hair. Instead, create width. Think about side bangs, layers that fall near the cheekbones, or curls that frame the face. A little lift at the sides can change everything. And what about texture? That changes too, especially as we age. If your hair is fine or thinning, layers can create the illusion of volume. Stay away from heavy products that weigh the hair down. Use lightweight mousses or sprays that lift at the roots and keep the look soft and full. If your hair is coarse or curly, long hair can actually work in your favor. The extra length helps weigh curls down just enough to reduce frizz while still maintaining bounce. Deep conditioners and leave-in treatments are your best friends here. They help define the curl pattern and keep things manageable. For wavy hair, embrace it. A long, tousled wave never goes out of style. It's romantic, effortless, and works well at any age. Use a sea salt spray for texture or a light cream to reduce frizz without removing volume. Now, here's something that's true for everyone. Regardless of face shape or texture, long hair needs shape. That means layers, movement, and most importantly, intention. Hair that just grows out without care can start to look tired, but a subtle face framing cut, a fresh trim every couple of months, or even a shift in parting can make a huge difference. And color? That's personal. Some women choose to go natural, embracing their gray or silver with pride. And let me tell you, nothing looks more elegant than long, healthy silver hair styled in soft waves. Others still enjoy highlights or subtle color to brighten their complexion. There's no wrong choice here, only what feels right for you. So what works after 60? Not rules, not age-appropriate advice. What works is understanding your shape, your texture, and how you want to feel when you look in the mirror. Because the goal isn't to look young. The goal is to look like yourself, just the way you want to. 6. The care ritual. Let's talk about something very real: maintenance. Because even though long hair after 60 is beautiful and meaningful, It doesn't happen by accident. It takes care. But that doesn't mean it has to be high maintenance. In fact, once you understand what your hair needs, it becomes a simple, soothing ritual, one that feels more like self-respect than a chore. As we age, our hair changes. That's natural. It may grow more slowly, become drier, thinner, or more brittle. If you've embraced your silver, you may notice the texture has shifted too, perhaps more coarse or wiry. But none of these changes mean long hair is off limits. They just mean your hair now needs a bit more love and attention than it did when you were 30. So what does that love look like? First, hydration is everything. As oil production decreases with age, hair often becomes dull or dry. A hydrating, sulfate-free shampoo and conditioner can make a world of difference. Use a deep conditioning mask once a week, focusing especially on the ends. That's where moisture loss is most obvious. You don't need dozens of products, just a few good ones that truly nourish. Second, don't forget the scalp. A healthy scalp means healthier hair. Gently massage your scalp each day, even for just a minute or two. It helps stimulate circulation and supports growth. If your scalp feels dry or itchy, try a light, non-greasy serum made for mature scalps. It can restore balance and comfort without adding buildup. Third, keep up with regular trims. Yes, even if you're growing your hair long. Split ends, if ignored, can travel upward and cause unnecessary breakage. A small trim every 6 to 8 weeks keeps your hair healthy, strong, and intentional. You won't lose the length. You'll just preserve its quality. Fourth, be gentle with heat. Long hair doesn't need constant styling. In fact, the less you heat style, the better. When you do, always use a heat protectant. Let your hair air dry whenever possible. Try soft updos, braids, or loose buns. Styles that protect the hair and still look elegant. These options are stylish, low effort, and safe for aging strands. Fifth, don't underestimate the power of nutrition. What you eat shows up in your hair. Protein, omega-3 fatty acids, iron, and vitamins like B7, also known as biotin, all play a role in healthy growth. And don't forget water. Staying hydrated is just as important for your hair as it is for your skin. Sixth, use the right brush. Choose a soft bristle brush or a wide-tooth comb. Always detangle from the ends first, working your way up to avoid pulling and breakage. And when your hair is wet, be especially gentle. Wet hair is more fragile, especially as we age. Lastly, embrace your natural texture. This is one of the most liberating changes you can make. If your hair is wavy, let it wave. If it's curly, let it curl. Don't fight it. Work with it. Long, naturally textured hair can be stunning, and it often takes less effort than trying to reshape it into something it's not. You don't need a dozen products or a complicated routine. You need consistency, patience, and kindness. Your hair doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be loved. And here's the beautiful part. This kind of care isn't just for your hair, it's for you. It's a daily moment of pause, of touch, of honoring yourself. Because long hair after 60 isn't just about how you look. It's about how you feel when you show up for yourself, even in the quietest ways. Bonus: rediscovering confidence through self-image. We've talked about hair, its length, its care, its emotion, and its meaning. But underneath every strand and story, there's something even more powerful at play. The way we see ourselves, our self-image. And for many women after 50, that relationship quietly begins to change. Not because we've lost who we are, but because the world around us starts treating us as if we've faded. The mirror doesn't lie, but sometimes it reflects the voices we've absorbed, not the truth we carry. Over time, we internalize the expectations. that we should look age-appropriate, that our style should be subtle, that we should be less bold, less visible, that we should shrink. But confidence has nothing to do with shrinking. It has everything to do with seeing and choosing to show up fully and unapologetically as yourself. That starts by reclaiming your self-image, not the one shaped by airbrushed ads or outdated beauty standards, but the one built on real strength. Strength earned by decades of living, of loving, of starting over, of getting through what you never thought you could. Maybe your hair isn't what it used to be. Maybe your skin has changed. Maybe you don't feel quite like her anymore, the woman you once were. But that doesn't mean she's gone. She's right there, still inside you, just waiting for permission to step forward again. So how do you reconnect with her? You start small. Gentle rituals. A moment of care. A compliment you offer yourself out loud, even if it feels awkward at first. Not because your reflection needs praise, but because your spirit needs remembering. Try this. Each morning, look in the mirror and say one kind thing to yourself. I like how peaceful I look today. My hair feels soft and strong. There's something kind in my eyes. These small words rebuild the bridge between how you look and how you feel. Next, surround yourself with beauty that reflects who you are now. That might mean clothes that move with ease, colors that light up your skin, or simply letting go of what no longer feels like you. It doesn't have to be trendy, it just has to be true. Spend time with women who lift you. Follow voices that affirm your stage of life instead of dismissing it. Seek out stories, images, and spaces where older women are celebrated, not erased. Because visibility is a form of healing. And remember, confidence doesn't come all at once. It comes back slowly, sometimes through a haircut, sometimes through a smile, sometimes through a moment of quiet when you catch your reflection and realize you still matter deeply. So if you've ever looked at yourself and wondered, is this still beautiful? The answer is yes, not because you look like you used to, but because you don't have to. Beauty now lives in your wisdom, in your stillness, in your choice to keep showing up with your head held high. You are not less, you are more seasoned, more self-aware, more grounded in who you are. And when you choose to believe that, even just a little more each day, the glow comes back. Not just to your face, but to your presence. This chapter of your life isn't a retreat, it's a return to confidence that doesn't need permission. It's yours now. Own it. So now we return to the question that started all of this. Should older women wear long hair? After everything we've uncovered, the myths, the memories, the maintenance, and the meaning, the answer is clear. Not from society, not from tradition, but from within you. Long hair is not about age. It's not about defiance or following rules. It's about expression. It's about comfort. It's about choice. And most importantly, it's about how you feel when you see yourself, truly see yourself, in the mirror. Maybe you've had short hair for years because it felt practical or expected. Maybe you've been longing to grow it again but weren't sure if it was allowed. Maybe you've kept it long all this time and just needed reassurance that it's still beautiful. Well, it is. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You only need to listen to the quiet truth inside you. If your long hair still feels like home, keep it. If it calls you back, grow it. If you're unsure, take your time and explore. There are no rules, only reflection. So tomorrow, when you pass the mirror, don't ask, is this still okay at my age? Instead, ask, does this still feel like me? Because that answer is the only one that truly matters. Thank you for watching Thoughtful Elders Insight, and above all, stay curious, stay kind, and always stay you. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.